Here is the 4-year-old sitting alone with a marshmallow. They know they can have 2 if they just wait 15 minutes. The famous Stanford experiment wasn't about willpower. Actually, it was more about the power of socioeconomic background, and it was about a conspiracy. You know, the kind that's happening inside your own mind, the one with united psychological forces systematically robbing you of your future. They're actually operating right now as you're watching this, shaping every decision you make about money, relationship, and career. Today, we're exposing the conspiracy that hijacks your judgment. You'll see exactly how this plays out in real-world scenarios and why recognizing these patterns might be the most valuable skill you can develop. Welcome to the Unbound Mind, where we challenge cultural narratives and comfortable lies that keep you trapped in stress, struggle, suffering, and stuckness. So if you're ready to reclaim your power and set yourself free in business and life, let's go.
Unbound Mind. The 3 Conspirators. Immediate Gratification.
That voice echoing through every boardroom, bedroom, and shopping mall on the planet. The human desire to seek pleasure or fulfillment without delay, right now, and often at the expense of more substantial long-term benefits. Say hello to quick wins, revenue spikes, short-term thinking, and weight gain. And goodbye to strategy, growth, profitability, and sustainable relationships. It's an answer to a devastatingly simple question: what do I want? Not what's best for me. Just pure desire demanding satisfaction, pleasure, relief, and demanding it right now. Screw consequences. But alas, this primal drive doesn't operate alone.
Present bias.
Present bias is how we systematically overvalue the present while treating our future self like a stranger whose problems aren't really ours. It's not about being short-sighted, although temporal myopia also has a say. It's about how we calculate value across time. Its core question is, what is it worth to me right now? So, you might prefer 100 quid in 31 days over 100 in 30 days. Seems rational. But when day 30 arrives, you'll likely switch to the immediate 100 rather than waiting one more day for that extra tenner. Think of it as decreasing impatience. We are perfectly patient when contemplating rewards in the distant future, but become increasingly impulsive as the moment of gratification approaches. That cake, you know you can perfectly resist. This is what you think in the morning. However, coming back from the office just in time for the cake, and your thinking, surprise, surprise, immediately changes, turning an aspirational sugar resistance into a meaningless challenge. Your future self is no longer just a stranger, they are a stranger you are perfectly willing to screw over.
Instant return bias.
If immediate gratification screams,
I want it now!
And present bias calculates, what is it worth right now? Then instant return bias is your you want to believe sophisticated brain that justifies you screwing yourself up.
What's the return on investment on this relationship? I've been working on it for the entire 3 weeks. Where are my results?
The instant return mindset transforms every human experience into a transaction. Every conversation becomes a negotiation. Every relationship becomes a portfolio position. And every skill becomes a commodity to be monetized immediately. It's the difference between asking, what can I get, versus what can I become?
The vicious cycle in action.
And only when they join forces do we step into deep shit. Let's review the rules. Immediate gratification is the emotional primal desire for a reward right now. Present bias is the faulty mental calculation that makes the desire seem like a perfectly rational choice. Instant return bias is a sophisticated lawyer who justifies it. Let's first examine how it plays out in a business setting. Because if you understand how these forces destroy companies, you'll recognize how they're destroying everything else in your life. So, the stage is set, the players are assembled, the tragedy is about to unfold. And it always starts with a trigger.
Monday morning in the boardroom.
The CEO walks into the weekly leadership meeting after a brutal board call. The company missed last quarter's numbers. Stock is down, plus a competitor just announced a flashy new feature. The air in the room is thick with tension. First comes the trigger. Intense pressure, fear of failure, feeling of being behind. It's not a thought, it's a visceral, physical feeling that actually does come from the thought. Then comes the impulse, or immediate gratification. The raw, emotional need for a quick, visible win to alleviate the pain. It's the primal, pre-verbal scream of, I want this bloody money. Now, if we step back for a second and think rationally, well, for a change, what they need is business growth that will bring them money they think they lack. As we know, growth comes in either immediate and unsustainable spikes of profit or steady profitability by the power of compounding. And more about it in the Truth About Strategy series and in the strategy guide from Purpose to Profit that you can try out using the link below. But here is the thing. If we functioned rationally, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Instead, we have a leadership team facing two options. Option A, invest significant resources into a strategy that could create a massive competitive advantage in, 3 to 5 years, or option B, launch a flashy marketing campaign that almost certainly will boost this quarter's sales, but has no lasting strategic value. Option A is the most sensible, business beneficial solution. But when your brain catches fire, it doesn't care about sensibility. It cares about making the emotional decision feel rational.
Let's be realistic. The pressure we're under from the board and the market is immense right now. The relief from hitting this quarter's target is tangible and immediate. That R&D project, it's an abstract future benefit. The market could shift, and technology might not pan out. I choose a certain present value over a hypothetical future jackpot.
From a return on investment perspective, the marketing campaign requires a smaller budget and 3 weeks of work for a 15% quarterly lift, practically instantaneous. The R&D project needs massive upfront investment for a payoff 36 months out. The marketing campaign is vastly more efficient.
When your brain catches fire.
This is the core of the illusion. Objectively, the company has resources. the money exists, well, good for them. They could invest in a strategy. But subjectively, in the minds of decision makers gripped by that make the pain stop now, option A gets mentally deleted from the menu faster than a controversial tweet. This is threat-induced tunnel vision married to temporal myopia, a fancy way of saying difficulty seeing past your own nose when shit hits the fan. As a result, time horizon collapses. 3 to 5 years become meaningless. Only this quarter or this week matters. The future gets discounted to 0. Options narrow dramatically. The brain stops seeking the best solution and starts hunting the fastest. Risk perception warps. Long-term irrelevance feels abstract. Immediate quarterly embarrassment feels concrete and terrifying. The brain chooses to solve the immediate tangible fear, triggering the primal fight or flight.
The painkiller effect.
Back to the boardroom. That the money is needed now statement. Well, it's a pure illusion of scarcity. Is it objectively true? Well, hardly, unless they're filing for bankruptcy tomorrow, and if so, they probably need to subscribe to this channel. The money is likely sitting in a bank account. So, when the CEO says we can't afford to lock up resources and strategy, they're not lying. They're describing their panic-induced reality, tortured by acute pain. And that splash marketing campaign becomes a painkiller, something to announce a distraction from the real problem.
The organisational bias.
By the way, such decision-making comes with 2 consequences. The first and obvious one, promotional business sprints end up destroying the business, eroding category margins, conditioning customers on promotions, and killing trust in the business. But honestly, those are hardly problems to worry about when a leader craves emotional satisfaction. The other one is that the leader's biases turn into organizational ones. So not only does a leader's psychology set the tone for the organization, but equally, their biases spread like viruses. They become unwritten rules that contaminate the culture and affect decisions, such as hiring practices, groupthink, and performance metrics, long after the original person has moved on. As such, from individual issues, they become system issues. Oh, joy.
Unbound mind.
This conspiracy doesn't stop at business decisions. It bleeds into everything. And each cycle makes the next one easier. Every time you choose immediate gratification, you are not just making a bad decision. You are training yourself to make more bad decisions. By the way, if you're curious about what other need games our brains play, check out the problem-solving playlist. This is why understanding these patterns isn't academic. It's survival. So in the next 2 videos, we'll step outside of the boardroom to check how our lives amplify these biases. And I'm sure you'll recognize yourself in more than a few of these scenarios, probably more than you'd like to admit. And importantly, we'll talk about how to fight this conspiracy, not with superficial hacks or motivational bullshit, but with science, using systems and first principle thinking. Until then, make your first move against short-termism. Download the Strategist Edge Toolkit complementary materials to the From Purpose to Profit Strategy Guide. It was written for you.